All right, YouTube, what's going on? Hope everybody's doing great. Hey, listen, this is a continuation of my last video. I was going to kind of join them together and make one long video, but I felt like it was better to just do two separate videos as they are two different subjects with these three beautiful displays here. But I will tell you that being that this is a continuation of the last video, and I'm referring to the skin tone video comparison that I just finished in HDR10 through the Spears and Munsil disc as a reference. I'm still using the same settings to keep it all even and fair, meaning that none of the processing enhancements for the picture are turned on. So again, everything is turned off as far as contrast enhancers, expression enhancers, reality creation, live colors. All those are shut off, and they are all in their most accurate preset, which is cinema mode and filmmaker mode with all three TVs. The only thing I do have turned on with the A95L, unfortunately, just because I couldn't take it, guys, was all the motion settings. The motion settings are turned on at their highest point. I just had to do it, guys, because without that, the A95L definitely falls short as far as motion processing goes. And you know, I get it that they are known for having superb motion processing, but I think they really mean that when their motion processing features or enhancements are actually turned on, because natively I do feel like it does struggle. And when they're on, they're pretty much equal or on par with the S95C and the A95. I'm sorry, the G3. So that's just a personal opinion of mine. But you know, when I tell you guys that they had to be on, they had to be. There was just way too much artifacts going on, and I just feel like that the A95L needs that extra boost in motion. So I will be talking about that a little bit more in this video. But I felt like this movie right here, Spider-Man. Across the Spider-Verse is the perfect movie to do these comparisons because they it's an animation movie. It's got lots of colors, lots of brightness, and lots of dark scenes. And we're gonna get right into it. So I'm sorry for the ABL kicking in on some of the TVs, but just want to let you know what we're going to be talking about before I start. So without without further ado, let's move forward. We're going to go ahead and press play. And I just want to show you guys right here is the perfect example because of the reds. So when you're looking at this picture right here, and please excuse the blown out background, it does not look like that in real life. It's just my camera trying to grab focus, and it's not grabbing focus right now in the background. But anyways, when you look at the forefront of the picture with Spider-Man and his back with the Spider-Man symbol on there, just you can clearly see that the S95C takes the cake. It is the most vibrant out of the three. The A95L is right on par with it. The G3 is the one that struggles the most in reds. You're going to see that across, I think, any sample that you can possibly go ahead and look at, whether it's a movie like this or whether it's a different movie. You're going to notice that the reds on QD OLED TVs just look better, vibrant, and all around brighter. So that's just what I wanted to really talk about in this particular example right here. Now we're going to go ahead and skip to another scene. All right, so right here I would like to stop. The reason why I'd like to stop on this one is because the background, you're going to see like one of those domes that are blue on the top. of the roof. Um, what I like about this particular scene here is that the G3 definitely to me looks the best out of the three. Um, just because I not only see a combination of great detail, but I do see that 3D pop. I do see the skin tone looking very nice and warm. I just feel like when it comes to this kind of picture, it doesn't look blown out or washed out in the G3. I think it does a little bit on the S90, or I'm sorry, not the S95C, the A95L just does look a little bit on the washed out side, especially in the background. But you know, the S95C also looks terrific. But again, I do like the way the G3 looks the best, and especially the uniform. I just think it looks really good on the G3, as it looks to me the most clear picture out of all of them. Now we're going to go ahead and move forward. Has anybody ever seen this movie, by the way? Across the Spider-Verse. This movie is terrific. If you guys haven't seen it, you got to see it. All right, so we're going to go ahead and skip to a whole different scene. All right, yeah, let's stop right here. This is a good scene to really just kind of show what the capabilities of the highlights are in this. Now, I'm telling you guys right now, although the background might look blown out, it's not. You can't even see the actual sun in definition in person in this scene. So if you have this movie and you know what this scene is pretty much right in the beginning. You can put it on, you'll see for yourself. You can't even see the sun directly in this. It was intended that way. So the highlights look fantastic in all three of these TVs. I got to give it to the A95L because not only is it managing the highlights basically perfectly, it's doing it while maintaining the color and detail at the same time. There's just to put things into perspective on this, guys. It's if you've had these types of TVs for a while, or if you've had OLEDs or higher end TVs for a while, you would know how hard that is for a TV company or manufacturer to manage. It is not an easy task. You really have to have some good software engineering or picture calibrating to be able to pull that off, as well as some really powerful processing. And this is a perfect example of that. The A95L just kills it, guys. And I can't get around it. The S95C definitely looks good. Don't get me wrong. It looks actually terrific, but the A95L just does it that much better. The G3 is a little bit on the darker side in this particular scene right here, although it looks good. You don't see as much detail. It is a little bit more dim. Yes, you can raise the blacks a little bit. I just don't feel like it's going to really increase any of the detail to the point where it looks fake or like, a bunch of artifacts or anything like that when you do that. So, sometimes when you do raise the blacks to get better shadow detail in the G3, you can sometimes, there is a very thin line there where you can wash out the picture and it doesn't look clear. So again, they trade blows, but in this scene, you got to give it to the A95L. All right, so we're going to go ahead and move forward. All right, so right here. All right, so the reason why I stopped on this scene is because it's a little bit of a darker scene. Now, this is when I really like the G3, all right? And I know what you guys are thinking. You're like, well, why do you like it? It's darker. You were just saying that it looks more dim on the last scene. Well, that's because it looked more dim on the last scene when it was supposed to be a brighter scene. This is intended to be a darker scene, which it achieves that to me the best out of all three TVs. Now, don't get me wrong. If you're a person, this is just personal preference. If you're a person who likes the darker scenes to still look brighter, or maybe on the medium side, you'll go with the S95C. you see more shadow detail in the S95C over the G3. And then you can go beyond that and have it even brighter and get more shadow detail in the A95L, as you can clearly see. So it's all dependent on what you're really looking for. But for me, I just love the way these dark scenes look with the G3. And I know a lot of people complain that, especially in Dolby Vision, that it's too dark and things like that. But let me just hear me out for a second like that. There is a huge population of people out there who love inky blacks because the way it can contrast a picture, or the way the contrast ratio looks in a scene. And this is a perfect example of that. So although it does look more dim, it has more contrast than the other two TVs. Me personally, I'm a huge fan of that in dark scenes. So I like the way it breaks up the colors. I like the way it still looks darker, and it doesn't really raise the darker images better in the G3 in dark scenes. Now, again, we're specifically speaking about darker scenes here, and that's just my personal opinion. But I would say the happy medium would definitely be the S95C in cinema mode, HDR10. But, you know, it's all dependent on what you like. You can raise the blacks the best on the G3. Right now, they're dead in the middle at 50. And you can raise it up as much as you want if you feel so too, but you will wash out the picture. So like I was saying, there is a thin line there. But regardless, I'm going to go ahead and move forward. All right, so let's go ahead and cut to another scene. Right here is a good one. So this one I like a lot because it's kind of like in between. It's not a super bright scene. It's not a super dark scene. It's like right in the middle. You're going to get lighter background, but you're going to get up front. You're going to get a little bit of a darker scene where he's wearing darker clothes. She's wearing lighter clothes. She has lighter hair. He has darker hair. So this is a good example. And I gotta say, guys, when you look at scenes like this, especially in animation videos or even anime, I would say that the A95L just does it for me. Like, look at the green in her shirt over the S95C and the G3. So the G3 and the S95C actually have a very similar look to it. But the A95L stands within its own right as just the way the picture pops, and just looks vivid, holding really good detail in these medium to dark scenes right here. You got to give it to the A95L in this one. There's just no way around it. And the nice part about it is the A95L does have 3D pop to it, guys. I know a lot of people have been asking me that. So to answer your question, it does. Is it as noticeable or pronounced as, let's say, the G3? No, it's not. But they did a really good job getting there. And I think that when you really look at the pictures, a lot of times you can't even see the difference. But guys, you got to give credit when credit is due. The A95L has recognition, and they know that the LG has that advantage, and they're coming after LG for that. And you can tell because last year the A95K did not have any 3D pop. Barely. If anybody said they did, it's only because of the contrast ratio was so good, but it didn't have that extra secret sauce that the LG has always had in their background with their processing, making the 3D just really look good. And that's just something that the LG G3 is known for. LG has been known for in the past. I mean, even the CX that I've had a really good 3D pop. So it's just something that LG just has locked down, and nobody can really come close to that in my personal opinion. So I'm addicted to it. I love it. It's my favorite thing about an LG OLED TV. The 3D pop is just amazing. And then the Alpha 9 Gen 6 processor, guys, I'm telling you right now, just like I said in the last video, it is a beast. I'm telling you, it is right there neck and neck with the XR processor in so many ways. If not, sometimes it even beats it. especially in other departments. Like again, 3D pop, I also think it beats it. Don't mean to change the subject. In motion, which I will get to. But anyways, let's go ahead and move forward. We're going to go ahead and cut over here. I know that seems a little on the dark side. All right. Here we go. All right, so here's a really good scene right here. The reason why I brought this scene up is because we're looking at obviously Miles here, Miles Morales, and his facial expressions, the background in the pink. So one of the things I gotta say is a lot of people always give credit to the QD OLED's pinks looking good, but you can't deny how good the pink looks in the background with, excuse me, the G3. It's a different kind of pink now. It's not as bright or light as, let's say, the A95Ls, but it has like a deeper, more richness color of pink into the G3. If you guys can kind of see that, and you can kind of see the gradation a lot better. Well, not a lot better. I shouldn't really say a lot better, but a little bit better in the G3 than you can, let's say, in the A95L. But again, when you're looking at the S95C, you can see a lot of gradation there too. So it's all dependent on what you're looking at, what you prefer. But as far as brightness goes, you got to give it to the A95L. It kind of wins right there over these two TVs. And it's funny because they go back and forth. Like there's going to be scenes where the G3 looks the brightest, and there's going to be scenes where the S95C looks the brightest. I don't know what the rhyme or reason is, guys. It's just, I find it kind of mind-blowing, but I just really do think it has to do with what colors shine the best through the TV at that particular scene. And that's just kind of like what it is, you know what I mean? All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and let's skip. Here's a good scene right here. All right, so I like this scene a lot. The reason why I like the scene is because it's going to bring out the yellows. And what can I say, guys? The yellows look phenomenal. They look like a nice, bright, vibrant yellow in the QD OLEDs. The G3 has a little bit harder of a time getting that bright with yellows. But again, if you're looking for a warmer look, then you're going to go with the G3. And this is a good example of that. And just like I was saying in my last video that I was going to use as a continuation, the G3 can get the warmest looking picture out of all three TVs, the best. So if you like warm, then you're going to go with the G3, hands down. If you like that kind of bright color or more vibrancy, you're probably going to go with an S95C or, of course, the A95L. This is a clear picture or a clear, good example of that. So just wanted to show you guys. So go ahead, let's move forward. Oh, sorry. Let's go ahead and skip. All right, so this scene, I do want to talk more about motion when it comes to this scene. Now watch this panning here. You see that? All right, now I'm just going to pause that right there. So the reason why I wanted to show you that was because I'm not going to get too far into it. And please, guys, you have to trust me when I tell you this. Please do. They all looked great, right? So I'm going to go ahead and let's see if I can bring that back. I want to talk about motion, right? All right. So the reason why I want to talk about motion in this is because the A95L is amazing. We all know that. I'm a huge fan of the A95L. I am not. So the problem is with people is they think when you are, let's say, just not exposing, but bringing up a negative, something that you don't like about a product or something that you find as a negative in a product, that you're bashing it. And I'm not bashing it, guys. I love my Sony A95L so much that I have two of them. All right. I have one right here that you're looking at and another one in my house, and they're both a 77-inch. That's how much I love the A95L. All right. So I just want to get that out the way. So I'm not a Sony basher. All right. And I'm just a living testimony of the fact that I have two of them. So how can I hate a brand that much that I have two Sony A95Ls? But I will say it doesn't mean it is a perfect TV. So you have to, in order for your A95L to have good motion, all right, you're going to have to kind of turn those motion settings up. That's basically a long story short. You're going to have to. And the reason why I say that is because with them turned off, it is pretty bad. That's where Sony fails the most out of anything. You know, their great picture quality, the great detail processing, their upscaling is amazing. Everything about the TV is pretty much everything you can ask for. Their audio is great. I'm just going to tell you that right now, especially compared to the S95C and the G3, you know? So just get that out the way. But when it comes to motion, I'm sorry, guys. I got to tell you, you know, Sony, you got to improve it there. You just have to, because, you know, to have to be able to turn uh, those motion enhancements on and those features on kind of kills it sometimes too, and gives it a little bit of more of a soap opera effect in certain times. And I'm not a fan. Now, I'm really just talking about watching movies and content. When you put it in game mode, it is a different story because you're running at 120 hertz natively and you want that high refresh rate, and it looks amazing. The motion is great, and you really can't tell the difference between any of them. And the latency has gotten a lot better since the A95K. It is improved immensely over the A95K last year, especially in gaming. The game menu, I think, is a joke in the A95L, but I don't want to go ahead and go down that rabbit hole. That's another video. But when it comes to motion in movies or watching or streaming, you really need to put those up in order for it to look more smooth. It is just, I can't handle it. I just can't. So I will say again, Sony, I love you guys. You guys are awesome. You guys make the best TV right now. You've earned the TV of the year for 2023. You really, really have. And I wouldn't even have thought you'd be able to beat the G3, but you have. And the motion, though, you got to really work on. So that's just my point. So you see how I'm going to go ahead and run this back again. And you're going to be able to see how nice and smooth it runs, right? All three TVs look good. There's really no difference, right? But the advantage is with the S95C and the G3 is it does it natively. It does not do it natively in the A95L. So I know Sony has a really good reputation for having the best motion. Some people say it's the best motion processing or best motion handling in the world. But I think what they really mean is their best motion processing in the world when those motion enhancements are actually turned on and the way it handles the motion from there. That's what I personally think. I could be completely wrong, but I'm just letting you guys know when that motion when those motion features are off, it is a whole different story. I promise you guys. So, all right. So we're going to go ahead and move to another scene here. Let's go ahead and we're going to stop here. Again, as you can see, there's going to be many times where it's going to look just like this, a lot more similar than not. But the A95L just has that edge more of the pop, has that edge more of the red vibrancy, and just has this type of processing that's just hard to compete with. Just has that glow without losing detail. It's just amazing how the A95L can do that. And don't get me wrong, they all look good, they all look great, but I just, you got to give credit when credit is due, and the A95L definitely takes the cake right there for these types of scenes. This scene was crazy when I was watching this movie. I'm going to go ahead and skip. All right, here we go. I actually want it back right here. Okay. The reason why I want to back this up, because look at the definition in the hair in this. So the S95C, you can see it has more shadows in her hair than the A95L. And the G3 has more shadow detail or more shadow looking hair than the A95L. So sometimes brighter isn't always better for these exact reasons. Like the A95L, you can tell is the brightest out of the three TVs, but you can tell it means it's losing sometimes some details. And I do like the way in certain scenes that, and this is a perfect example, the way like her hair looks the best in the S95C. You can just tell like it has more shadows in it, more definition in it. It just looks more real. And I mean, you got to give credit when credit is due. Like I was saying about the A95L, the S95C is just crushing it right now. It just really is. And a lot of times I feel like movies like this are made for TVs like the S95C because of this exact reason. It just brings out color and volume so much better. So that's just another strong point of the S95C. All right, we're going to go ahead and skip. I want to skip this scene. All right, here we go. So brighter scenes right here. I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see this, but I'm telling you, as I'm staring at the three TVs next to each other in person, the G3 is the brighter TV in this scene. And it's also the clearest out of all three of them. It may not look like that through the camera right now, but I can tell you the G3 looks the clearest. It does have a little bit more color to it, and it just looks right. The S95C, I'm not seeing as much detail in this particular scene. The A95L is nice and clear, but I feel like the picture could be a little washed out besides maybe the green. Other than that, it looks a little bit more on the washed out side. So again, as you guys can see, they just trade blows. It's just that simple. And there's no other way to really explain it. I feel like sometimes I sound like I am repeating myself. I know I'm repeating myself, but it's just scene by scene, they're always different. And, it's just another way of basically saying no matter which TV you go with, I'm pretty sure most of us would be happy. And if you're not, you can always change your TV. But again, this is just, another another example of what I personally see. So I'm going to go ahead and flip it to maybe another one. All right, let's go. We're getting towards the end of the movie, actually. All right, here we go. So this is going to be my last point over here. You're going to be able to clearly see this scene with all TVs looking a little bit more on the dim side. It's a little bit more of a darker scene. Now, if you're going to pick a TV where you want to be able to control your black levels the most, I'm going to just give you my personal opinion on this one. I would probably say you should go for the LG G3. If you're going to want a pretty much, the easiest TV to use without having to really have to feel like you have to play with the settings, and you're going to want the TV to not have too many settings and customization settings, and you don't really care about accuracy as much, you're going to go with the S95C. If you choose to really want the color of a QD OLED, right? The color, you want the processing of, let's say, the best, let's just say you want the best processing for, vibrant scenes, or just overall upscaling, things like that, you're probably going to go with the A95L. The A95L is the best overall TV that can manage the most processing overall. Although it's not the best out of all three TVs in every category, and there are times where the S95C and the G3 beat the A95L, you're going to probably pick the A95L if you're really looking for the best overall. And the reason why I say that is because you still can change the black levels pretty amazingly, just like the G3, in at least movie modes, presets, not game mode so much, but in movies. And again, we are really just talking about movie content. We're not talking about gaming. Gaming is a whole different story of why you would choose one over the other. All right. And we're going to get into that in a separate video. But in this particular video, we're really talking about if you're mostly watching movies, streaming, things like that. But if you're looking to be able to customize, if you want to customize your TVs and have that QD OLED pop, you're going to go with the A95L. It's just that simple. So the only thing that I would say is if you're not willing to pay the premium and you still want to be able to customize your settings as best as you can, go with the G3. You're going to be happy with that TV. As long as you get a sound bar, or something better audio wise, you will be happy with that TV. You can save the money you would use to buy the A95L and get yourself an awesome sound bar and sub to pair up with it. And the LG ones are really nice too. And you can sync it up, and you can also, as long as it's an LG, they also do have the same technology where you can use the LG speakers as a center speaker. Although I don't know if you really want to do that, because LG's G3s, at least in the 77-inch speakers, are not that great. They're very lackluster, tinny, hollow, and horrible. Again, in my opinion. So, but anyways, that's my overall perspective. Is if you're specifically talking about watching content, If you're gaming, we're going to be having that discussion. But you're going to see a whole entirely flipped different opinion when it comes to gaming. And then you're going to have to decide what you're going to think is best for you or what you personally like. If you're a 50-50 person, if you game and then you watch content on the same TV 50-50 of the time, 50% of the time. So everybody's different, you know what I mean? But that's my personal opinion on these TVs, guys. I'd love to hear from you guys of what you guys think. I'd really like to know what do you prefer in a TV and why? So I know a lot of people put in the comments, oh, A95L is the best. S95C wins. LG wins. But please, I would really like to hear a more of a detailed explanation of why you choose those TVs. What is it about those TVs specifically that you like over the other? I'd really like to know because I like to hear the logic behind your opinion, because that's what makes it very, very interesting. And that's my favorite part. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you found it informative. Please let me know in the comments if there's something else you want to see on my next videos. Just to let you guys know, I will be doing a comparison. You guys have been killing me with the requests of just low bit streaming content on all three of these TVs and SDR content. So I'm going to get there. I promise you. I just had to get this video out the way and really wanted to just get a lot off my chest when it comes to these comparisons. But there you go, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much. I'm going to see you on the next one, and I'm excited to roll out these videos for you guys. Thank you so much.